Well, thank you so much. I think you did an absolutely brilliant introduction of Dragometrics, so I couldn't have done much better. So yeah, let's get started. So welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us. As I said just now, I think you're very brave at 10 o'clock in the morning for coming on and talking about SEO for technical websites, because it's going to be quite a deep one. Isa has already kind of introduced me. As you already know, I'm Sarah. I'm the Digital Marketing Director at Dragometrics, which is an SEO platform. I'm not going to go into too much about myself because Isa's already done it and it takes time away. But I couldn't help kind of add in the joke about being sassy. As you can probably tell, I like makeup a bit too much. And I do have a background in linguistic psychology and sociology, so I do enjoy putting them all together. And in my free time, I'm the founder of a community group called Neurodivergence and SEO, which was kind of set up on a bit of an ADHD whim and actually became a thing. But it's a group for, say, autistic, ADHD, dyslexic, other neurodivergent conditions. So SEOs who fit into that bracket, so that they have a safe place to kind of network, get support from each other. We have opportunities like scholarships to training programs, free tickets to conferences and stuff, just to try and, get more neurodivergent SEOs out there, because we do a pretty good job at it. So anyway, enough about all of that. Let's get started by setting the scene on technical SEO. Well, not technical SEO, but SEO for technical websites. So I have done an awful lot of technical SEO for technical things. That probably came out really wrong. Basically, I've done a lot of technical website SEO. Some of my favorite projects have included ballot systems. So they're part of train tracks. Germans love searching about ballot systems, but when you're trying to kind of localize that into the UK and find things that people are searching for, people in the UK really don't like searching for ballot systems. So that one was really tough. Also done elevator light curtains. I don't know if any of you know what light curtains are, but they're the bit in a lift or elevator that basically, when you stick your hand in an elevator and it stops before it squishes you. That's a light curtain. And again, not many people are searching for that because it's quite specialized. So that was another fun project, trying to find, search terms for things like that. Done laser technology, and very in-depth laser technology, which again, nobody is searching for, or it doesn't look like anybody is searching for. And also aeronautical engineering. Again, parts of planes are not something people Google and be like, oh, I'm going to buy a plane today. Doesn't really happen. So the challenges with this, which is what I'm going to try and teach you how to overcome, is things like lack of data. Because I said, ballot systems, not popular. People are not searching for it on every day. So how do you know what people are looking for, especially in different markets when you're doing international keyword research? Complex products. You need lots of expert knowledge with it. Like, I'll be honest, learning about ballot systems was something new. I may be autistic, but I'm really, really bad at trains and know nothing about trains. So that was tough. But I'll let you into a little secret. I actually know how to fly planes. So doing the aircraft one was actually kind of right up my street. And lots of people as well use the wrong channels. They go into it kind of with the same kind of mindset as they would do if it was like a B2C product or something like more common B2B, like software. I don't know if you were selling, for example, something like Salesforce or HubSpot or whatever. The problem is that these technical industries, you can't really do that because they're not catering to so many people. So yeah, using the wrong channels is a big problem. So now I'd like to know a little bit about you. Isa, can you start the poll, please?
Of course. Let's see. Okay, here we go with the first one.
So I'd like to know, do you SEO technical documentation on niche websites? Secondly, do you actually enjoy doing them? And 3, what type of optimization do you actually do for them? This is just me being a little bit nosy so that I know what you're doing. Okay, so one person
Yeah.
does an SEO, the technical documentation and stuff. So I'm hoping that I might inspire you. Oh, two people. Okay, so one person actually loves technical SEO for these kind of websites. So go you. You have lots of respect. I don't.
Yeah.
And I can totally empathize with the kill me now bit. And the last one, brilliant. So we have one person who just does the keyword localization and optimizing the content, and one who does both. So that's a really, really nice kind of mix that we've got there.
It'd be nice if the others would also take a shot at these questions, because we are nosy, as you said.
Oh yeah, and like it's kind of split 50-50 between I love it and kill me now. So
yeah,
please don't leave it like that.
exactly. Be brave.
And I won't judge. This is a safe space.
Of course not. Okay. There's a question here. Anna is saying, if we answer no to the first question, the other two questions do not make sense. Yes, you're right.
Fair enough.
Okay. Well, I'm going to close the survey then.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Don't worry, polls will be back.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, how do I get rid of the little poll thing? So anyway, even though like it sounds really, really complicated and everything, it's really not all doom and gloom, and there are things that you can do in order to, succeed with SEO on your niche websites. So let's get started. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk you through some practical steps of actually how to do the SEO on some of the tips and tricks that you can do. Rather than focusing on theory, this is going to be really practical. So hopefully I'll be able to kind of give you takeaways that you can actually go and implement straight away. So I mentioned earlier about people using the wrong channels to market their technical websites and things like that. So you really, really do need to ask yourself, is SEO the right channel? Because although salespeople would love to tell you everything needs to be SEO'd, there are actually some times when SEO isn't the right channel. So what you need to do is you need to kind of work out, is it a good fit for SEO? And you can do this by basically speaking to your customers. You need to speak to your customers, and you need to find out from people in the industry, how are they actually buying and how are they actually finding out information? Because you're not really going to go on Google and you're not going to buy a plane engine, or you're not going to go and buy yourself a CT scanner just to, put in your living room for fun. These are really, really complex machines. These are very expensive machines. And, it's not just a case of going and buying them. So you need to speak to your customers, you need to understand the industry, and you need to go in and ask them kind of, how do you buy? Do you have set suppliers that you can use? Are you only allowed to, do you have to go and buy them through, for example, sales reps? If you're looking for information about these products, would you Google it, or do you go to, for example, like specific documentation to find out more about them? Because again, just Googling something about a CT scanner could actually be pretty dangerous, especially if the content is wrong. So understanding your customers, understanding what they want to do, how they do stuff, because if nothing, none of the path to purchase or none of the content actually starts with a website, everything has to go through an offline channel. There's not much point putting all of that money into SEO. Like a good example that I can give you when it comes to medical devices is if you're doing, for example, patient trials, if you're doing devices, for example, like diabetes testing patches and things like that, they're really, really good to SEO because they're B2C, and you're trying to get people from the wider public to interact and buy your products. Another good one is I've done things, for example, on like stoma bags, and part of their strategy was to like write content about kind of what happens if you're going in for an operation, what happens if you suddenly find yourself needing a stoma bag, how do you change it, that sort of thing. And that worked really, really well. because they were targeting the public. So again, see what the product is, see who you're targeting, and then decide, is SEO the right channel? So if you do decide that SEO is the right channel, because there are lots of use cases that do warrant SEO, otherwise I wouldn't be here, how can you go and do it? Because if it's specific machinery, as I've already said, people don't search for ballast systems. People don't just go and search for a new aircraft engine and, you know, buy it straight away. So there's loads of different ways of finding out which keywords or which sort of content you can write. So we're going to get started, and I'm going to show you how to do a competitor analysis, because finding out what your competitors are already doing can give you a head start, and it can give you lots of inspiration. Now, take it with a pinch of salt, because some competitors can have really, really bad SEO. So if they have really bad SEO, don't copy them, learn from their mistakes and do something better. But if they are investing in SEO and it does work, you can definitely use them as inspiration. So what do you need to get started with competitor analysis? So you need an SEO tool with competitor analysis capabilities. These are normally kind of paid tools. So these paid tools kind of start out at around, I would say, kind of like $80 a month. So they don't break the bank. But if you're relying on free tools, you're not going to get all that much data, and you're not going to be able to kind of deep dive into what your competitors are doing. If you're from an LSP or something like that, what you're going to need is you need the URL of your client's website, and you're going to need a list of your competitors' websites, because who they consider a competitor may be somebody completely different to who you consider a competitor. So again, it's something that they need to supply to you before you get started. And you also need lots of curiosity, because you're going to go and deep dive into these things and take a look around and, you know, try and uncover kind of what's going on and what you can use for opportunities. So it's quite fun. I quite enjoy this part of technical SEO. So I'm going to walk you through how you do it in Dragonmetrics. Not that I'm biased or anything, but this is kind of how it would work in a similar tool with, you know, similar capabilities as well. So what you can see here is when you log into the Dragonmetrics platform, we have a section called research, and that's basically for researching. And on here, what you can do is you can put in a domain. So I'm going to pretend that my client is GE Healthcare, and you can take a look at all of their data without actually having to set it up with Google Analytics or anything, which you might not have access to, or clients might not be able to provide you with. So you can see up here at the top, I have chosen United States English, but here you can choose anything. So you could have, for example, German in Austria, you could have Spanish in the United States, and you could even change it to, for example, Baidu for China. So what you'd put in is URL, you'd click on go, and it would give you all of this lovely information. And already you can see loads and loads of different interesting insights that you can get from using a professional SEO tool. So first of all, here you can see the number of, for example, keywords that they have. And this is really, this is quite impressive, because they do have a lot of keywords that they're ranking for. You can see as well the country distribution of where people are coming from, which again is really interesting, especially if you're working with a global brand, because you can take a look and see, okay, so lots of people are coming, for example, from Spanish-speaking browsers in the United States. If I click on that, then I can explore all of the Spanish keywords that people are searching for, and that gives me even more insight into it. For example, I can even take a look and see what Hindi keywords people are using just by clicking on it. And because GE Healthcare does quite a lot of things, you can see as well that it's broken down into category distributions, which is really useful, because say you're doing a project that only covers, for example, CT scanners, and you don't want to cover ultrasounds. What you can do is, based on the category, that's probably not actually the best example, but say, for example, it was a bigger company like Siemens who did mobile phones and consumer appliances. You could actually filter out kind of which one you specifically basically specifically medical keywords, and which are the ones that you didn't want to show there. So now that you've started getting an idea, again, what we're going to do is we're going to look at GE rankings, medical devices, and medical diagnostic equipment to help us kind of find out more about what they are doing and what they are ranking for. So you can see here, for example, you've got all of your different keywords. So you've got branded keywords like GE Healthcare, then you've got portable X-ray machines, and you can see that I've highlighted as well ultrasound machine, which is a pretty good keyword. And they are position 1 for that. It's got lots of good monthly search volume. So again, you've just uncovered that they're ranking really well, for example, for ultrasound machines. But what about their competitors, and are they missing anything? So we'll move on. You can go and click on competitors and you can see who the main competitors are. Now, some of these are not going to be the most relevant. These are companies that share the best way to describe it is share the keyword landscape. So they might be ranking for similar keywords, but they're not actually kind of your direct competitors. So take a look here and you can filter out which ones you want and which ones that you don't want. So we can see here that we want to take a look at Philips because they also make lots of medical devices. So I've clicked on that. I'm going to click on compare sites. And then I can compare the two of them together. And this is where it gets really interesting because you can get lots of insights from your competitor, and you can do this for multiple competitor sites at the same time and see how everybody is doing. So you can see that Philips have an awful lot more keywords than GE Healthcare do. So let's dive deeper. Here you can see, for example, all of the keywords that you have in common. So you can see that you've got things like CT scanners, you've got MRIs, you've got ultrasounds. And you can see that for the example of CT scanner, Philips is ranking number 22, GE Healthcare is ranking number 39. So you can go back to GE Healthcare and say, okay, one of your really important keywords is CT scanner. You're not ranking so well for that. Let's fix the landing page and see what improvements we could get on it so that we end up better than, say, Philips. But you can also see that some of the other ones that, you know, you're doing better than the competitors. But again, you need to take them with a pinch of salt and see which keywords are ones that you want to spend lots of time on and which ones that you don't. Because, for example, if you look at magnetic, again, that could be an extremely general keyword. You could be talking about, you know, I don't know, magnetic Pokemon or something like that with that keyword. So you really want to stick to the specific ones like CT scanners, ultrasounds, blood pressure monitors, that kind of thing. So now that you've taken a look at keywords in common, what you can do is take a look at keyword gap. I hope you can all hear me okay. I'm very sorry. A lorry has just driven down my road and it will go away in a second. My dog will sit back. Isa, can everybody hear me okay? Or shall I wait for 2 minutes?
I can still hear you.
Okay, brilliant. Apologies about this. Okay, so keyword gap. This is the most important thing because you can actually see where your competitors are ranking for and you're not. So you can set, so imagine if you were GE Healthcare, you had a new range of ultrasound machines, but you weren't ranking for anything. Take a look at Philips, see that these are all the keywords that they're ranking for. And then you can be like, yes, I like these keywords. I'm going to put them as part of my strategy. And so again, instead of just doing plain keyword research, you can kind of steal their keywords. And it gives you more insight into what's actually working for competitors and what's not working. So that is a basic overview of kind of how to do competitor research. If you guys are kind of new to it, get started with these steps because they'll really, really help you. There are more in-depth steps, but I don't want to kind of overload you at this time of the morning. So let's carry on. And I'd like to actually tell you some secrets. So whenever I've done kind of keyword research projects and these kind of projects that involve research, I've kind of found that either the LSP or the client will insist on things like it has to have a search volume of over 1,000 or 100 or something like that. my vendor needs to have a specific tool. If you're using, for example, Dragon Metrics and not SEMrush, oh no, you have to be using the same tool. But these are a little bit unfounded, and I'm going to tell you why. So search volume isn't actually an exact art. So you'll see that tools vary per search volume, and that's completely normal. And no no tool is going to be your one source of truth for search volume. I'm sorry. Because basically, lots of you probably have plugins, and you use lots of plugins for lots of different things. They're free, they're lovely. The reason why they're free is because they're actually tracking your data and tracking how you search. And what they do is they sell that data on. So they work out, for example, okay, there are 500,000 people using my plugin. Out of that 500,000 people, X% search for CT scanners. So if you times that 500,000 people by the amount of population, that means that this many people must be searching for CT scanners. So it's not really all that exact. And even Google, the way Google do it is they put them into, for example, when it comes to PPC, they put them into little batches. So things, if you had, for example, CT scanner, by CT scanner, similar keywords like that, they put them all together and then just give them one search, like a combined search volume. So this is why you have similar keywords with exactly the same search volume. So if your client is concerned that, oh, this only has a really low search volume and this tool said that it's better, don't worry about it. Honestly, just, it doesn't matter. Next one. Again, search volume data will vary per tool because different tools get their data from different places. I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of how tools kind of get their data, but you can get data from multiple different sources. And basically, because all of this data is from different places, the way that it's worked out is different. So there isn't actually really one source of truth. So if you say, for example, to your vendors, you must use this tool, you don't need to. Because, for example, the search volumes will tend to be similar. So you could have one tool that says, for example, 40 and one that says 100. It's not enough to make a real difference. And finally, one of the biggest myths is zero search volume doesn't mean that people aren't searching for it. So I have seen an awful lot in my time in the language industry that vendors have been banned from finding zero search volume keywords. That's extremely problematic, especially for countries like Arabic, where actually the data is, certain tools don't have the data. So for example, if they're using Keyword Planner or something like that, it will come up as zero search volume, but actually it's a really popular keyword. So do not dismiss a keyword because it has a search volume of 0. If it is showing up in a tool, it means that somebody's searching for it. And just to kind of add on to that as well, 15% of all searches on Google are brand new. That's an awful lot of brand new searches. So no wonder there's kind of all of these searches coming up as zero search volume, because the data hasn't had time to collect. It hasn't been able to, tell you kind of what the search volume is. And this is especially true if you've got a new product, if you're dealing with something extremely specific, like we're finding in the technical world. So if it looks like there is no data, but it's showing up in tools, it's fine. You can use it. And again, this is an absolutely brilliant graphic by Mark Williams Cook. If you don't know him, go follow him on LinkedIn or Twitter. He's absolutely brilliant. And he has this graphic that basically says, if you're looking for keywords that, for example, have high search volume, they're very short. Keywords are like 1 word, 2 words. They're going to be the hardest to rank for. They're not going to be the most relevant. And again, the easiest to rank for ones are kind of low search volumes, more long tail keywords. So if you do have a chance of going for example, low volume keywords, as I'm going to show you in a minute, and ones that are more long tail, you actually have better chances of ranking rather than choosing a single word that has 1 million search volumes, for example. So now that we've started touching on keywords and we've dispelled some of the myths around keyword research tools and things like that, let's take a look at how we would do keyword research for these kind of niche industries. So again, I'm back in Dragonmetrics. You can see here that I've typed in MRI scanner. I'm going to search it in Google in the United States in English, and it comes up with, great, MRI scanner has 90,500 keyword monthly searches. Brilliant. That's a nice number. So poll time. Do you think that this is a good keyword?
Okay, here we go.
Oh, we've got one.
Okay, 2,
3, 4. Okay.
Well, let's give it a couple of seconds. Okay. So 4 people said no.
Okie dokie.
What's the right answer?
Oh, wait that. Let me click off this so it's not obstructing the screen.
Okay.
It's smart. I wouldn't choose it. You know why? It's very hard to rank for. If you take a look at here, we have a thing called keyword difficulty. It says that it's very hard to rank for. And it also tells you kind of the number of average backlinks that you need to rank in the top 10 results. And that's 670 sites, not 670 individual links, 670 separate sites. And you are not likely going to build those 670 links between SEOing a landing page and launching your website. We also see here as well the organic click-through rate, and basically what this means is how likely it is that people are going to click on the organic SERP rather than PPC, because some products people, for example, if they're shopping for lipstick or something like that, they'll probably just go to the shopping results at the beginning rather than going down looking for organic search. So again, here, it's moderate, it's not a great result. And you can see that the cost per click is actually $6. So this is quite a competitive keyword. So yeah, no, and the search volume is probably too high because it's not specific enough, it's not relevant enough. You know, don't choose ones like this. So what do? Let's keep looking and let's find out what we can do for these kind of medical devices. So I've gone into the keyword ideas section, as you can see, and you can see lots of different keyword suggestions. So this is where you've got to think, who is your audience? What's going to be relevant for them? What kind of keywords suit the kind of search intent that people want to do? So say that your audience here was the general public. Instead of doing MRI scanner, what you could do is you could take a look at the keyword, for example, MRI versus CT scan. It still has a lot of nice monthly searches, but the organic difficulty is really low and it's got high organic click-through rate. So again, even though it's not got 90,000 monthly searches, it's actually, you know, got a good number and you've got more chance of ranking. So that would be a lot better. So you can go through keyword ideas like that and actually take a look at what you want. But what happens if your product gets even more specific? Because like CT scanners, you know, it's not impossible that people are going to rank for that. But what if we looked at something like gadolinium contrast media? I always have problems saying that. It sounds a bit like a dinosaur, doesn't it? So pop that in, click go. And you can see now 90 monthly searches. And you can also take a look at, for example, the keyword ideas, and you can go even more specific than that. So I'll give you 2 seconds to look at this page. Do you think this is a good keyword? Got one saying yes. Oh, somebody said no. Oh, this is getting fun now. Keep on going.
Yeah. Take a chance, even if you're not sure, just pick one answer.
Honestly, there's no, well, I
No.
would say there isn't a wrong answer, there is, but it doesn't matter.
No, exactly.
Learn why.
Okay, so we've got 3 people saying yes and 1 saying no.
So it's a shame we don't have like dramatic music that we could add a little bit of like a drum roll or suspense in here. So just imagine that in your head. And is it a good keyword? Is it not a good keyword? I would choose this keyword. You know why? Because it's not impossible to rank. Like the keyword difficulty, it does say moderate, but backlinks only from 159 sites. So, 159 sites is a lot more manageable than over 600. There's a really high organic click-through rate with that. Cost per click, people are not PPCing for, contrast media. It's not something that everybody would buy every day. So I think that you definitely have a good chance of, ranking with that if you decided to do that with SEO. So well done to everybody who guessed right. So we've got down to 90 monthly search volumes. Let's dive deeper. Boom. So I'm now looking at, I want a landing page on intracranial developmental venous abnormalities. Nobody's searching for it. There's no monthly searches. What's going on? No. Okay. I'd love to use a word that begins with S, but we're all professionals, so I'm not going to, so I'm going to imply that from the picture. So what do you do when you have a really good keyword, but no monthly searches? This keyword's actually okay, don't panic. So ignore the fact that I try to panic everyone just now. This keyword is actually okay. This keyword is good. So if it's showing up in the tool, people are searching for it, it's okay to use this keyword. Just because it says monthly searches are an A, don't, dismiss it. It says here as well that it's really hard to rank because you need backlinks from 11 websites. Compared to 600, I quite like the sound of 11. That's quite good. So let's keep that. Organic click-through rate is really high because, again, if people are not doing PPC on contrast dyes, they are really not good. It's not going to be this massive PPC bid battle on kind of intracranial developmental venous abnormalities. Not going to happen. So again, you're safe with that. And you can also see that there are actually keyword suggestions and keyword ideas. So if there's keyword ideas, someone must be looking for it. So here we go. I've gone down a little bit because you couldn't really see it on the last picture, but you can see here, like, here's all of the keyword ideas that you can have a look for. I'm not going to go into a whole spiel about, what it actually meant, but basically the last keyword, it kind of meant sometimes you can have abnormalities in the veins in your brain. So again, this is why people are searching for strokes. You can take a look at, for example, stroke recovery, that kind of thing. There's loads of different question keywords as well. So if, as I said earlier, you want to go for the long tail keywords with less search volume, which you want to actually rank for, again, these keywords are brilliant. So definitely take a look at them, and you can form keyword clusters of different contents with, for example, this one as, say, like a pillar piece, and then you can do, for example, how to recover from a stroke, or how to treat an aneurysm in the brain, all of these different things, and build up a lot of kind of, how would you phrase it? Basically, just show that you know what you're talking about when you're writing this content. And another thing that you can do as well is you can actually check the SERP. So these are the search engine results pages. So again, you can do that in Dragonmetrics. If you just click on SERP result, it will tell you kind of what the SERP looks like and what other content is showing up. Now, that probably means absolutely nothing to you by taking a look at it looking like that, because I find it very hard to process when I look at something like that. But if you click on the raw SERP, it shows you kind of what that SERP looks like in real time where you're searching for. And as you can see, there's loads and loads of content actually written on it. So even though, again, it says zero search volume, there must be some kind of market for this, because people are searching for it. People have written content on it. There's even, you know, loads of different things on it. And as you can see here, for example, you've got like all of this different content. So brilliant. So hopefully I've just showed you now that zero volume keywords actually aren't that scary, and you can actually go for them because people want them and people like them. So what do you need to do next? So now that you've identified your keyword, you haven't been scared off by the fact there's very limited data, you need to optimize your content. So you're probably wondering, like, I deal with technical documentation, I deal with documentation for, say, CT scanners. If it's online, optimize it. I mean, if it's like not FAQs, if it's like terms and conditions and really long legal text, okay, maybe that's not the best bet for SEO. But if you have content that people go to your website to read and people search for, optimize it, even if it's like technical content. I should also put in there as well that when you're dealing with technical keywords, it's really, really, really important that you show your authority. So adding something into, you know, for example, like ChatGPT, and hoping that, you know, that will rank. When it's dealing with medical devices, something technical, you cannot trust AI to write something for you. You need to be going to, for example, experts who actually know how to do things. Because me writing an article about trained ballast systems, it's very obvious that, you know, it will just be surface level knowledge that I've just Googled and don't know much about. But when it comes to, for example, like writing about planes and intricacies of plane engines, then I can, you know, do a much better job on that. So again, once you've found somebody to write your content who knows what they're talking about, you need to learn where to optimize. So you need to optimize all of your standard stuff, for example, like titles, meta description, body content, headers, alt text, URLs, all of that kind of on-page stuff that you can find. Optimize it. And also, again, make sure that the information that you're giving is correct. Because when it comes to medical stuff, it could be really dangerous if it's not correct. And also make sure that lots of companies I know add disclaimers on there as well. So they're not held liable if, for example, something does go wrong, which hopefully it won't if you're following my instructions of finding somebody who knows a lot about the subject. Now, to finish off, there are some other considerations as well, because those of you who know me know that I always talk about, you know, SEO is lots of things come under SEO. So, hello, Molly, do you like SEO? So basically, lots of things come under SEO. So it's not just a case of, you know, localizing some keywords, adding them into a translation. You're not going to rank if you just do that, because you need to take into account, for example, link building, off-page SEO, technical SEO. And it's especially true for example, niche websites, because you really need to have, you basically need to have all your ducks in a row for that. So the other thing that you need to look at is things like indexation. Are your pages indexed within Google? Can Google find them? Has Google put them on the SERPs? Schema, you can look at, for example, implementing schema FAQs to, again, showcase your knowledge and make it easier for your content to show up in the SERPs. If you're doing international stuff, then, for example, you have your hreflang tags that you need to make sure that you get right. This is especially true if you're working with different English-speaking markets. So imagine that you have a US page, you have a UK page, you have an Irish page, you have an Australian page. But a bigger problem that I always see is that, for example, people in the UK get shown the US version of the site, or people in Australia get shown the US version of the site. So what you can look at doing is, for example, specifying things in the sitemap, adding your hreflang tags correctly. So make sure that you really do that. You can look into link building, because as we've seen, if you're going for more, basically no matter actually which keyword that you're looking at, take a look at link building. Take a look at redirects as well to make sure that you're using the correct types of redirects. For example, 301s, transfer link juice, which is basically it. I'm going to go down a rabbit hole if I talk about different redirects, but anyway, make sure that your redirects are okay. Make sure that you don't have any 4xx errors on your site. You need to look into site speed and stuff like that, user experience. So these are all really important things if you want to rank, especially for niche industries as well. And that's a wrap. So thank you very much. Hopefully I've inspired you to take a look at SEO for niche websites. If you want to get in touch, the easiest way to find me is on LinkedIn, send me an email, whatever. And if you have any questions, we've got some time now for it.
Okay, well, thank you, Sarah. Finally, the mystery of zero volume keyword has been unraveled. I'm very glad. Let's see, what if you guys have any question for Sarah, you can either submit it through the chat box or you can raise your hand and I'll open the microphone and you can talk directly to her. But I do have a question. Many technical websites, many companies that sell technical products also have PDFs online. Is there a way to make sure that a PDF is maybe not 100% optimized, but that can kind of contribute?
Yeah, so the kind of like PDFs are a slightly different matter. Do you mind me asking who asked that question? If you pop
That's
your name.
me, actually.
You. I will send you over some information about it.
Okay, thank you. And I'll share it with everyone else in the follow-up email. Let's see. I don't see any question. I don't see any. But yeah, another thing that I was wondering is some of the medical, because you took a medical website and medical topic as an example, but some medical websites also share kind of recommendations with the audience, etc. And some SEO experts, they just don't want to do the optimization for those pages. Let's say the your money, your life kind of pages. What's your take on that? Because they say it's too difficult to get a good ranking. What's your take on that?
To be honest, like, if you're not even trying, then of course you're not going to rank. So if you can build like a really good framework, so you're working on your technical website, you've got lots of authoritative content, you're building your site structure, okay. You want to, maybe you're not going to rank for them at the beginning, but the more that you build up your website and the more that you work on SEO, give it a go, because saying no right at the beginning,
yeah, at least give it a try.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Or find different ways to rank for it. So maybe if you've got a keyword that's like 100,000 searches, try and find a more long tail keyword that asks the same thing that you could rank for.
Exactly. And then my final question, and I'm hoping that attendees will come with some questions, but my final question was singular and plural, because I saw on the screen, for example, you were looking for CT scanner, and there was CT scanner and there was CT scanners, and sometimes clients do say, oh, please use the plural or the singular, because there is a difference. Is there a big difference, or is Google so smart right now that we can just forget about it?
Oh, Google's smart enough. Google knows that by now. So I wouldn't worry about having to specifically use like a singular X amount of times or plural X amount of times. Like the example that I like to give people is, for example, I speak Czech, and Czech has absolutely lovely grammar where the ends kind of change depending on where they are in the sentence. So with Czech, Google can understand everything. Okay. And Google can understand that the endings have changed because of a set preposition. You don't need to do exact match keywords because that looks stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's see. I don't see any questions. Was everything clear? If not, you can always reach out to Sarah. And thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you everyone for attending. The recording will be available on the website pretty soon. I'll send a follow-up email with the link and some extra informations. And the next webinar is going to be tomorrow, and we're going to go back to a classic topic, that is post-editing in this new time of neuro-machine translation and large language models, and it'll be presented by Viveta Jean. Okay, I see some nice messages. All clear so far. So well done, Sarah.
Oh, thank you. Well, it was lovely doing this all for you. And hopefully we'll stay in touch. And if you have any questions, reach out. I'm more than happy to help. And thanks for having me, Lisa.
Always a pleasure. Hope to see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Brilliant. Bye.